Needs your attention first thing in the morning. Welcome to MUU. My name is Teresa, Pastor T. Hey, you. I'll answer to just about anything. My pronouns are she, her, and I am so very glad that you are here. You are welcome here. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, however you identify, and whatever your story, you are not just welcome, you are celebrated here. We honor all bodies, all neurotypes, all races and cultures. Immigrants, with or without documentation, citizens, seekers, skeptics, scholars, students, and survivors. And there is space for you here. If you are Black, brown, indigenous, white, mixed, of the global majority or minority, if your pantry is overflowing or you're worried about where your next meal will come from, if you are deaf, hard of hearing, or selectively hearing, if you are disabled, chronically ill, neurodivergent, or somehow a specimen of perfect health, if you are lesbian, gay, bi, pan, ace, aro, trans, non-binary, intersex, two-spirit, gender expansive, exploring your identity, or wondering what those words mean and how they differ from each other, your whole self is sacred here. You exist here, and you are safe here. If you follow Jesus, the Buddha, the goddess, the earth, your ancestors, science, nature, the flying spaghetti monster, the wormhole aliens from Star Trek, or you're still figuring it out or are terrified at just the thought of being in church, your faith journey is holy here. Bring your doubts, your rituals, your joy, your grief, your questions, and your curiosity. In our services, we encourage you to use whatever name for the divine feels right to you. In our songs, in our readings, if something doesn't feel right, substitute the word that works for you. We celebrate many paths to the sacred, the divine, the holy, or God. We acknowledge that we gather here today and every week on the unceded land of the Chukchansi people. We honor their story, their sovereignty, and their enduring presence. If you're joining us online today, please drop a comment or an emoji or send us a message during the week so that we know that you are with us and we can feel your presence across the miles. And if you watch online, please, if you see me out in the community, stop me and say hi so that I know who is a part of our family. If you're here in person, I already know that you are a part of my chosen family, and I love you, and I'm glad that you are here. Please feel free to move, stretch, sway. Just keep your volume kind so that everyone can stay present without the need of subtitles, and avoid walking across this middle pathway unless you want to possibly be an internet celebrity. We are trending a little bit on TikTok right now. Take as deep a breath as you're comfortable taking. And let it out. And allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment. Let love, acceptance, welcome, and safety meet you exactly as you are. And now we will begin with our opening song, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Stand if you're able or willing. Rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Our next song needs a little bit of an introduction. So this song has shown up on a lot of UU music channels that Chris looks at to pick our music. And even though it comes with a hymn number from our UU hymnal, she can't find it. It doesn't seem to match the number. But she started playing the video, and I was like, oh, I know that one. It's in another hymnal I have because I just collect those. The song was originally written in Spanish, so the English words don't necessarily rhyme. I was originally going to sing the first verse for you in Spanish, but it's actually just a little bit outside my wheelhouse at the moment. I do sing very fluently in Spanish usually, but this one's a little tricky. So you'll pick up on the melody pretty quick. It's a pretty simple one. It's only 4 verses. When the poor ones who have nothing share with strangers, when the thirsty water give unto us all, when the crippled in their weakness strengthen others, then we know that God still goes that road with us. Then we know that God still goes that road with us. When at last all those who suffer find their comfort, when they hope though even hope seems hopelessness, when we love though hated time seems all around us, then we know that God still goes that road with us. Then we know that God still goes that road with us. When our joy fills up our cup to overflowing, when our lips can speak no words other than truth, when we know that love for simple things is better, then we know that God still goes that road with us. Then we know that God still goes that road with us. When we homes are filled with goodness, with abundance, when we learn how to make peace instead of war, when each stranger that we meet is called a neighbor, then we know that God still goes that road with us. Then we know that God still goes that road with us. You want me to read it? We light this chalice for the love that includes rather than excludes, for questions that deepen instead of divide. We light it for courage to keep growing and changing, for honesty spoken with compassion, for joy shared without judgment, and for the sacred spark that lives in every one of us.
Good morning. My name is Chris, and my pronouns are she and her. And we can go to the next slide. We're going to talk about what makes hospitality radical. So a phrase that I learned a few years back was practice radical hospitality. And when we were working on creating our covenant for our church, we talked about radical hospitality. And a couple people were familiar with the term, and some people weren't. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that and how it applies to what we're doing with food right now. When we talk about radical hospitality, we're talking about a welcome that goes beyond kindness or politeness. Radical hospitality is more than friendly welcome. It's a fundamental reorientation of how we welcome, intentionally, generously, and often at personal cost, toward the marginalized and the outsider. It invites us not merely to open our doors, but to go out into other spaces, sit with those on the edges, and build horizontal relationships of mutual dignity and transformation. In our covenant, we promise to practice radical inclusion and friendship to all. That means our welcome doesn't stop at comfort zones or church walls. It means showing up for one another and for strangers with compassion that costs something, generosity that stretches us, and love that shows up in action. To be radically hospitable is to look honestly at the systems around us, the food banks, the churches, the aid programs, and ask, who is still being left out? Who is still hungry, unseen, or turned away? When I talk today about Manna House or about how food distribution and assistance work in Oakhurst, please know this is not about blame. These are good people trying to do good work. But as a community of faith, we also believe when you know better, you should do better. So I'm just a couple of quick bullet points about ways that you can receive food in Oakhurst and some of the challenges with these systems. Okay, so food stamps. Currently, food stamps are not accessible unless between November 1st and 6th you received yours. If not, then the availability of your food stamps is turned back off, and we don't know when you're going to get them. And so that's a lot with the federal flip-flopping of that funding. Now, there's some misconception out there that our governor has picked up the slack in covering the extra, and that is not correct. Unfortunately, what he has been able to offer is $80 million in support to food banks and the National Guard. We do not have a food bank here. We have one that visits once a month from Madera. So a food bank that gets supported by Newsom with 12% of what we need, it just doesn't cover it. So it's great, but it's not all we need. So food distribution, what we have here in Oakhurst is just next door at the community center once a month. People go and get in line and receive a certain amount of food. Doesn't matter how many people are in your family. It's the same box and the same couple of fresh things and the same maybe one protein that's usually frozen. But if you're too far back in the line, they may run out of that protein before you even get there. We're expecting the line to be very long. We were talking this morning about it. It generally is. You get in line at 9. They start handing out food at 10. And if you get in line at 9, you're still probably car number 45 or so. So that's how the line works when there isn't a food stamp shortage. So we are expecting it to be, a significant difference this month.
And what day is that?
That is on Thursday, and we'll talk about that some more. We'll talk about that some more later too. So some people think, well, Manna House covers the extra, right? You see Manna House, they're ringing a bell outside at Christmas time, or they're doing a food donation through bonds or whatever. Manna House is great, but all you can get from Manna House, again, no matter the size of your family, no matter who you are, no matter your level of need, one box of food every 2 months. That's all that they offer. I double checked to see if there was anything new they were doing based on what was happening with food stamps. They said, unfortunately, no, they're not. So that's all that Manna House offers to any one individual. And they do keep a file, so they have your name and they know if you've come and gotten your food for the 2 months. Other churches, there are a few other churches that offer a few other things, but it's extremely limited. It's limited to certain hours. It's limited to a certain amount. It's limited to a certain population. One of my favorites that we had here for a while was called Soup for Friends. And that was a group that cooked and delivered lunch on Sundays to people in the community, focusing mostly on unhoused, but basically anyone who looked hungry or looked like they might be hungry. It was really special. My friend Sarah ran it. And unfortunately, she didn't have enough support to maintain it. It has closed. Soup for Friends is no more. So we do not have Soup for Friends on Sundays anymore. That's really, really sad news. So those are some of the things that are available in Oakhurst, and you can see it's pretty slim pickings. We'll talk some more about what we offer as a church and how that compares. But when we look at with loving eyes and honest hearts at what's not working, and we choose another way, we're being a different kind of church. We're not the kind of church that limits what we share or who we share it with. You don't have to prove your need or prove your willingness to come to one of our services or believe any one particular thing or have a certain income. We're not the kind of church that asks whether someone deserves help before offering it. We're a church rooted in love, and love doesn't draw lines. It builds longer tables. So what I wanted to share with you is a couple of pictures. So when I was up here talking to you about food in October, I showed you this picture of our food pantry, and it's a respectable food pantry, and we said this is available whenever anyone needs it. Since we've been talking about what's needed in our food pantry, go ahead and go to the next slide. This is what our food pantry looks like now. This is full of drinks. We have all this food up to here. You can see the canned goods is much more full, but that's not all, folks. Next slide. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 shelving units. One is personal care and hygiene, paper products. Then we've got a half of one of food. We've got one of fresh produce that's, semi-shelf stable. And then the shelf at the very, very back, that's back stock of everything that's in the front-facing pantry. So that's you all and your friends and other people in this community.
And the Yosemite Democrats.
Yes, people who have heard what we're doing and who want to help. So, when someone says, oh, we can only offer one box every 2 months because there's just not enough to go around. Something that Teresa and I have really learned and have seen in action again and again is if you operate out of abundance instead of out of scarcity, the need, it gets filled. It gets filled. So we will continue to say we have food. We will continue to give food. If people need something and we don't have it, we will find a way to get it. And that's because you all are helping us do that. So please do continue, and please be proud of yourselves for everything you've done so far. And with that spirit of welcome and belonging, I invite you to join us in singing, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
And we've received some beautiful cash donations to ensure we can keep it going. So, yeah.
Thank God.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Okay. She would like to go.
Okay.
Sage will take a bathroom break. Tiffany has got bronchitis and an ear infection and has moved on to clearer air, closer to the coast, I believe. So Teresa and I are on Sage duty in addition.
Why we don't have to worry.
Yes, in addition to running church today. So Sage will throw a little twist our way here and there, I'm sure. All right, let's do our meditation. I invite you to take a slow, steady breath in and out. Feel your feet resting on the floor, your body supported by the chair, your breath moving gently through you. Close your eyes if you wish, or soften your gaze. Take another breath, and with it, imagine what it feels like to have enough. Not more than you need, not less, simply enough. Enough food to nourish you, enough warmth to rest easy at night, enough connection to feel that you belong, enough purpose to wake up each day with meaning. Imagine a world shaped by that feeling, a world where each person has enough safety, enough dignity, enough care. Picture a table, simple but strong, where everyone brings what they can. Some bring food, others a song, a story, a listening ear. No one has to do it all. And somehow together there's enough for everyone. Let yourself rest in that sense of shared sufficiency. Notice how it feels to give freely, trusting there will still be enough left for you. Notice how it feels to receive, knowing your presence, your being here is also a gift. In this quiet moment, let gratitude rise for what sustains you, the people, the earth, the small daily miracles that keep you whole. Let your heart whisper, "This is enough." Take one more breath in and one more breath out. And when you're ready, open your eyes, bringing that calm assurance with you that in community, in care, in love shared freely, we already have what we need. All right. Teresa's going to share joys and concerns. The form looks like this. If you pick it up and it says church information form, just flip it over. The prayer requests on the other side. I need to take care of this. Okay, I'll take care of this. You go ahead and take care of that. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Parenthood, it's so much fun, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna first invite a couple people to share their prayer requests that wanted to speak out loud. So, Richard, go ahead.
It's okay with y'all, I'm not gonna lock that Parkinson's over here for half a day. I just wanted to thank my friend Chris here, who twice now has gone out of his way to get me to an emergency room so that I could get out of pain and hurt. And last night we were out till 3 in the morning. And I just, that is a gift. As many of us know, as we get older, not having it, my daughter doesn't care. And having a friend that would do that is just, I just want to acknowledge you, Chris.
And then I'm going to ask Donna for a meal update. I know his procedure went well, but what else should we know?
He's having a little complications with it. Today he took out 3 bags. And it's hurting him and he's getting really depressed. Being there, he wants to be home. But I'd like to get him transferred to Majestic Meadows if we can. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, I'm hoping to have him home by Thanksgiving though.
All right.
I have
Yep.
one that I forgot to write down. My husband and I just found out yesterday that one of Lauren's friends, he's been kind of, part-time caregiving, taking in places. And anyway, he hasn't been doing very well, but it has taken way long. But he did just finally get diagnosed, and he has ALS. And it's,
Yeah.
so we don't know much more than that at this point, but he's got good care, and he's in a safe place for right now, so I don't think he's going to be able to stay there very long.
No.
It's going to be too hard. So anyway,
That-
keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, and thank you.
Prayers for Amanda, who is on day 3 of a debilitating migraine, is not with us today. And for Michelle, who is preparing for Tony's memorial service and is really struggling because they've asked her to speak and she's struggling to find the words. And I told her I'd be happy to work with her on that this week because boy, do I know how that feels. And prayers for my friends who are in Palm Springs celebrating our first Pride without my friend Viv, which we all went to together every year. Chris and I were supposed to be there this week, but with everything going on with Tiffany, we're here. And that's okay. But prayers for them as they navigate this first holiday without her. And then I have a joy from Jay. Now we can move from some of the heaviness a little bit. A joy from Jay. Jay starts his new job tomorrow. Woohoo! Yeah. And a joy for that amazing picture that Chris just showed us.
Yeah.
And then prayers for Kat and Charlie, because Kat is going to have to move to Mariposa to help her dad with some stuff. And she's going to miss everyone here. But we're going to work out some ways to get her here at least once or twice a month. And keep her in contact. But prayers for them during this time. So if you'll please, I'm going to light the community candle. This will stay lit until after the service in honor of all these joys and concerns. And then if you will please join me in the spirit of prayer and love and light. Holy One, God of many names, we thank you for those who are here today. We thank you for the joys that have been expressed and those that have not been expressed. We thank you for good friends and chosen family. And Holy One, we ask that you move your love and light and healing touch onto those who are hurting right now, who are struggling, whether emotionally, physically, financially, or all of the above. Both those spoken here today and those not spoken, you know the needs of this world. And we ask that you move in your mighty power to meet those needs. In your many holy names we pray. Amen. Amen. And then Chris has a children's story.
I do. I wrote it this morning. Teresa wanted a story, and I wanted to make it a little different. See how long it takes you to figure out what the story is. The Traveler's
Amy already got it. Just by the picture.
High up in the mountains, tucked among the pines, there was a little town called Oakhurst that always seemed to be just getting by. People helped when they could, but life was hard. Checks came late, shelves were thin, and everyone worried that what they had might not be enough. One chilly afternoon, a traveler arrived on her way to Yosemite. She carried a small pack and a smooth round stone in her pocket, a reminder that every journey begins with something simple. She stopped first at a small home with a fenced yard. The people there were kind but cautious. Their Social Security check hadn't come yet. Still, they offered a pot and a stove, saying, "We can't spare much, but we can share a little warmth." So the traveler filled the pot with water and dropped in her stone. "I'm making soup," she said. "It will be delicious once it has a few things to keep it company." She went walking through town. At the mini-mart, a clerk listened to her story and smiled. "I've got some elk jerky," he said. "I can't sell it past today, but it'll make a rich broth." At the grocery store, a mother and her child were loading their bags. There are no food stamps this month, so the cart wasn't very full. The little one reached in and pulled out 2 bright orange carrots. "For your soup," he said, proud to give something of his own. Down the road, a restaurant server was closing up between lunch and dinner. "I've got a little broth left from the lunch special," they said. "It would be a shame to waste it." A few blocks farther, she came to a small Unitarian Universalist church where people were gathering after service for snacks and conversation. They shared some vegetable skewers and a scoop of bean salad, happy to know that their meal would feed someone else too. And just outside town, she met a couple resting under an oak tree, their belongings stacked neatly in a shopping cart. They didn't have much, but they offered half of their canned vegetables and a small tin of meat. "We know what it's like to be hungry," they said. "We'd like to help." Back at the little house, the travelers stirred the pot as the smells of simmering broth drifted through the air. One by one, people came to see: the clerk, the mother and child, the server, the church members, the couple from under the tree. Together they added bowls and spoons, laughter and stories, and soon everyone had enough. Maybe not a feast, but enough to warm their hands and their hearts. The traveler smiled, ladled out one more bowl, and said, "The magic wasn't in the stone. It was already here in you." And so it is with us. Each of us brings what we can: a skill, a kindness, a story, a spark. And together we create something greater than any of us alone. May we remember that the true abundance of this mountain town is not what we have, but what we share.
Isn't she so creative?
I'm very proud of the elk jerky part. I thought that was really good. All right. I was expecting Natasha here for responsive reading, but she's not. Amy, are you prepared to? Amy's my pinch hitter. Thank you, Amy. It is a little bit long, but that's because it's based on our covenant.
Good morning. My name is Amy, and we're going to do the responsive reading that says, "We're not that kind of church." We are not that kind of church that tells you what to believe.
We are a church that promises to honor and respect each other's beliefs, experiences, and identities.
We are not that kind of church that speaks only from the pulpit.
We speak with honesty, share openly, and communicate clearly and compassionately.
We are not that kind of church that asks you to leave your struggles at the door.
We care for ourselves, each other, and the community we are creating together.
We are not that kind of church that divides people by who belongs and who doesn't.
We practice radical inclusion and friendship to all.
We are not that kind of church that pretends we never fall short.
We hold each other accountable with compassion and grace, knowing that growth and healing are not linear.
We are not that kind of church that hides from conflict or discomfort.
When conflict arises, we seek to listen first and speak in love.
We are not that kind of church that demands perfection.
We promise to be open to growth, feedback, and the changes that help us thrive.
We are not that kind of church that keeps love locked inside these walls.
We lead with love in our decisions. Service and presence create change in the world.
We are not that kind of church that fears joy, creativity, or vulnerability.
We make space for all three, trusting they will help us grow together.
We are not that kind of church that forgets our shared vision.
Together we keep growing, rooted in care, guided by our values, and open to the sacred in ourselves and each other.
Natasha and Shiloh We're keeping your seats warm. Please come on back.
Amen. Yes. Shiloh is very well recovered. They are just incredibly busy people. So, some of you know, I've definitely mentioned it before, that I write the sermon and the welcome speech and the benediction, and I tell Chris the topic and she kind of does the rest. And on the fly, because I wasn't supposed to be here this week, and Pastor Kim was supposed to be here, and then that didn't work out, and everything didn't work out. I said, okay, we're not that kind of church. Because I can't tell you how many conversations I have with people who are like, oh, I'm afraid to go to church, or oh, I don't like this, or oh, this and that, and whatever else. And I'm always saying, I don't know how many times a week I say, we're not that kind of church, or I'm not that kind of pastor. And I tell you what, man, like I kept every detail of this sermon a secret from Chris. And if everything she wrote didn't turn out exactly on point, I don't, oh my gosh. Like, you'll see, okay? Have you ever watched the TV show, What Would You Do, with John Quinones? If you haven't, he has actors that set up scenarios that are relatively common in front of unsuspecting bystanders to see who will do something, who will say something. He sets up scenes that talk about, that bring to light racism, bullying, child abuse, every kind of awful thing you can imagine. He sets these scenes up in very public ways to see who will get involved. He always talks to the people afterwards about how they reacted and why. Now, Chris isn't a big fan of the show. She thinks it's really judgy of people to choose, she thinks it's really judgy of the people who choose not to intervene. But if you watch, he really has heart-to-heart conversations with every single person on the show, even those that chose not to get involved, and let them share their reasoning. Now, sometimes their reasoning is that they're just a bigot, and that they just agree with what was happening. And usually they're just embarrassed to have had that caught on camera. But sometimes it's just that they were afraid, that they themselves have been in the same situation, that they just didn't know what to do, that they wanted to get involved. They just didn't know how. The whole show is one big social experiment program that really set the stage for a lot of social media videos that now set up similar situations. Now, I know this crowd is more likely to have seen What Would You Do than they are to have seen any TikTok video. And is more likely to have seen none of it, just based on generational differences. And I'm going to warn you in advance, I'm probably going to use some words that some of you don't know. And that's okay. I'll explain it later if you have any questions. I'll be around. But there is a lady right now on TikTok who is trending for conducting a social experiment that some people are saying could go down as one of the greatest social experiments on TikTok or on any social media. She's calling churches all across the nation. When she calls them, she plays a recording of a baby crying in the background. And she tells them that she has a 2-month-old baby, and she's out of formula, that she's been out since the night before. Now, she's not trying to scam anybody. She's specifically very clear. She's not asking for money. And if the church says, yes, we'll help, she immediately lets them know, this is a social experiment. Thank you. She's called over 30 churches to date. Anybody want to take a guess how many have said yes? Three. 3 out of 30 churches. She called Joel Osteen's church. She called Charlie Kirk's church. She's called huge churches of that magnitude. She's called small churches. She's called everything in between. Of the 3 that helped, one was a small, kind of mid-sized black church. One was a very small, struggling Appalachian church with a great-grandfather as a pastor who said he'd buy the formula out of his own pocket. And one was an Islamic mosque. People have told her she should call her local biker bar.
Yeah.
People have told her she should call the Satanic Temple. Because she's getting no's from every church and people are responding in droves. I don't know what's more impressive right now on TikTok, her videos or the response videos.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more impressive right now, her videos or the comments in her videos. She's very clear in her pitch. This is a two-month-old baby. We haven't had food since last night. She calls late afternoon as churches are kind of getting ready to close. If you've ever been around a 2-month-old baby, you know they need to eat every few hours. She has a very convincing recording in the background of this baby crying. Churches have told her, we only help our members. They have referred her to other agencies. When she says she tried that agency, they say, oh, well. In some of the videos, she even explains why she can't breastfeed. She's really a great actress. Hollywood needs to pick her up. And what is amazing to me is that over and over again, she's clear. She's not asking for money. Just food for her baby. Now, like I said, when they do say yes, she explains to them her social experiment. Those 3 churches are now also trending on TikTok, including the mosque that didn't have a TikTok before. They're calling her now, thanking her because they're getting more donations to their resources. She's taking recommendations, and I've recommended a few. It's being talked about by scholars, theologians, people of all different classes. And now it's starting to be talked about by pastors. And unfortunately, some of them are chastising her for this social experiment. Some of them are saying it's not the church's job to help people. What? Are you kidding me? One of them was a pastor that I followed up until yesterday when I saw his video, saying it's not our job. He's a progressive pastor, or so I thought. I tried to make a response video yesterday. I tried to join the team of pastors making response videos. I got interrupted 3 times trying to make the response video by calls related to food. And once by a follow-up call to an inquiry about a member I hadn't seen in a couple weeks. It is 100% the job of every religious organization in this country to help everyone they can. It is 100% the job of churches to care about people. Did you notice I didn't start with any sacred text reading this morning? That's because I couldn't pick one. Because all of them, time and time again, say, yes, it is your job. More so, it is the job of all of us as humans to care for each other. And I see a lot of people making response videos saying, this is why I don't go to church. This is why I left the church. This is why I hate churches. And this morning, because I listen to TikTok a lot of times, it's just background noise. This morning, it's all that's in my feed on TikTok because that's how the algorithm works. And one person said, Don't churches know by now that she's gonna call? Don't they know by now that she's doing this? Won't some of them at some point say yes just to save face? And he says, and as he thought that, he realizes, no, they don't know that she's doing this. Because the way that the algorithm works on TikTok is the content you engage with is the content you see more of. If they're not willing to feed people, they're not engaging with content on social media about feeding people. They're not seeing this video. She could continue to call churches for over a year probably, and they'll never see it. They'll never know it's coming. I find these videos so relatable because, like I said before, every day I have a conversation with someone who apologizes for swearing in front of me, and I say, I'm not that kind of pastor. Or they ask me if I think they're going to go to hell for something they did, and I said, I'm not the kind of pastor that's even sure I believe in hell. Or they tell me that they love what we do, but they don't do church, or churches are too much drama, or they don't have nice clothes to wear, or they've been too hurt by church. Or like Brooke said last week with our Dia de los Muertos altar, she would usually put tequila on the ofrenda, but we're a church. We're not that kind of church. Every damn day, I find myself saying, it's okay. We're not that kind of church. We're not that kind of pastor. Please come eat. Please come exist. Please come and be loved. We're not here to judge. A lot of the churches that this woman is calling say they just don't have the supplies in-house. Yet they make no effort to get her the supplies that she needs. They might refer her out to some agency, but they make no effort to help her make the call. If you have ever had to make a call to get help, you know how painful that is. And if you have never had to make the call to get help, please know you're living with a privilege you're not aware of. This past week, I got a phone call asking for children's clothing. We don't have any children's clothing. We have adult clothing, we have blankets, we have towels, we have appliances, we have everything you saw in the food pantry. We don't have children's clothing. Do you know what I said? I'll find it! I asked, would you be comfortable going to this location and asking them? Last I heard, they have some. If the answer had been no, I would have gone and asked. But it was a school day, and so I just asked, would you be comfortable? Yes, I'll be comfortable. Unfortunately, they got a couple of items from that place. But then I went out and asked at the Yosemite Democrat meeting. I went out and asked at some other locations. I now know where to get children's clothing the next time we have this issue. One of my favorite responses to the video of the woman calling for formula was a fellow UU pastor. The video response came in two parts. Her first response was her acting out how she would have answered the call. And it went something like this. Yes. What's your address? I will send it over right now. I'm going to use DoorDash to get it to you. What else do you need, Mom? You must be exhausted. Have you eaten? What can I send for you as well? Do you need diapers? How about wipes? I can guarantee you if the call came in, that would be my response as well. If I didn't have the money, if the benevolence fund didn't have the money, I'd find the resources. I'd call somebody. Part two, it's going to make everybody a little bit uncomfortable for a moment. Part two, the pastor was responding to a comment on her first video. The comment said, some of these churches are acting as if this lady was looking for drug money. And the pastor said, let me think how I would handle that call. And what she came up with was, okay, How long have you been in withdrawal? Okay, so you're starting to feel pretty sick. Look, here's what I'm willing to do. I'll give you the money. But you need to come here. I have Narcan. I'll find a clean needle. And then afterwards, after you're comfortable and stable, I'll find you a bed in rehab. And if the person says no to that, then she said, I would still say, please come here before you go find what you need. I'll still give you the Narcan and the phone number to rehab. Now, I get the impression that this pastor is in a much bigger area with much more resources, and that response is something she can do safely. But I'll tell you what, I've at the very least given the second response. Okay, I have Narcan, and I'll help you find a rehab. Please be safe. Because what? We're not that kind of church. We are not the church that says you have to clean up before you come here. We're not the church that says you have to dress nice to come here. We're not the church that says you have to smell good to come here. And we are not the church that says you have to come here in order for us to help you. We're not the kind of church that asks a million questions or asks you to fill out a form or asks you to drive to some place across town when you don't have a car. Are you hungry? Let's get you food. Are you cold? Here's a blanket. I spoke to someone this week multiple times who's going to remain nameless, who was focused on other issues, and now I understand the other issues that they were focused on. But I kept asking over and over and over again, how do I get you food? Because that's what I have to offer. If we had a building, the answer would be, do you need a place to sleep? Here's a Sunday school room to sleep in. In trying to explain this to someone this week, I said, we're not beholden to a set of sacred text. And if you can click for me. We're not beholden to a set of sacred text that can be twisted and misinterpreted as you use. We're committed to a simple set of shared values that are clear and non-negotiable. Justice, interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and at the center of it all is love. This is the kind of church we are, and when we start ignoring any one of those values, we might as well stop calling ourselves a church. Because our worldwide faith is built on these values. When people say, I don't go to church because, the reason always has to do with some sort of behavior like what I've seen on TikTok this past couple of weeks. But we are a church that is filled with atheists, humanists, spiritualists, pagans. I think we have a couple Buddhists, Hindus, and yes, even Christians. And people should never feel afraid to come here or to reach out, because we're not that kind of church. We are the kind of church that answers the phone and says yes. We are the kind of church that doesn't ask for proof of need before offering compassion. We are the kind of church that doesn't build walls, we build tables. We're the kind of church that remembers that love is a verb, and when the world looks at us, may our love in action always make us the church that creates change. May they say that this is the church, this is what the church was always meant to be. A refuge for the hurting, a meal for the hungry, a blanket for the cold, a voice for the silenced, and above all, a living, breathing yes. How can we help? To every question of need. Amen. And now I need the clicker. And for our special music today, where we usually play a video, I've decided to sing. This is a song by Garth Brooks that just so perfectly tied into the message, I don't think it even needs any introduction. This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary friend. When I close my eyes, I see that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, we shall be free. Last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within. When the skies and the oceans are clean again, we shall be free. Oh, we shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, we shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we all can worship from our own kind of pew, we shall be free. Yeah, we shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, we shall be free. And when money talks for the very last time, and nobody walks a step behind, when there's only one race and that's mankind, we shall be free. Yeah, we shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud, we shall be free. Yeah, we shall be free. We shall be free. Have a little faith, hold out, we shall be free. We shall be free.
So I thought someone was here from Bunko to rush us out at 1:30.
That's what I was thinking too.
Can I help you? No, she just had a check and some food for us.
Oh my gosh.
As we continue in the spirit of reflection, we remember that our shared ministry is sustained by the generosity of everyone here. We don't pass a plate, but there's a donation bowl and QR code on the welcome table by the door. If you'd like us to track your cash donation for a receipt, please use an envelope. I think I forgot to bring the envelopes today, so let me know if you want me to take it and put it in an envelope. Checks may be written to Mountain UU or simply use our handy stamp because you have to write it all out. You can also donate online anytime at mountainuu.org under Ways to Give. Every contribution, large or small, supports our mission of love in action, creating change, which I think we've all seen is happening. All of our funds are managed with care and transparency. You can view financial information anytime on our website or by appointment, and all our congregation does is run entirely by volunteers.
And
Your
donations.
Yes. Your offerings of time, service, creativity, and joyful participation are just as vital as financial gifts. Each act of generosity strengthens this beloved community. And with gratitude for all the ways that you give, let's turn our attention to the announcements. I have some things here, but start right there for a second. A couple that didn't make it into the slides. Georgia from the Senior Center wanted to make sure that you all knew that everyone is invited to join in for the free Thanksgiving luncheon that's happening here on Wednesday the 19th. So not on Thanksgiving, but it's a Thanksgiving theme. And then also there's a veterans dinner that I forget on the 19th and no, on the 11th. Veterans Dinner on the 11th, and there's sign-up sheets for both of those on our welcome table. So please sign up for those if you're interested. We need another person to bring food next week. So if you're interested in doing that, that would be amazing.
After service food, not food bank food.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we already have like way too many snacks again. But that's okay because last week what I did was I packaged up the leftover birthday cake, and the first couple people that came to the food pantry got birthday cake, and they were thrilled. So yay to hospitality committee for birthday cake. It was a hit. So yeah, that's going forward. We're going to try and do that as much as possible with our leftover snacks. So don't hold back on the snacks. All right. So that's okay. That's all right. So you can find us all on our website. Drop down menu on your phone or across the top. If you're on an iPad or a laptop, you'll see these kind of drop down things. All right, go ahead. We've got Tuesdays at 6 is grief group on Zoom. And next one, Wednesdays is Healing Nest at 6 right in this room here. And next Sunday, 11:9. No, that's not next Sunday.
Yeah. No,
No.
11:16.
I didn't do the math.
No.
11:16.
Yes.
So I should say 11:16. Hospitality and outreach team meeting together again. This time we'll be talking about our Thanksgiving and holiday plans. And then Thursday, the 13th at
This
9
Thursday.
a.m. That's this Thursday coming up. That's the food distribution, which is the Madera County Food Bank. We'll be getting in line sometime between 8:30 and 9. If you can join us, that would be great. Be prepared. You will be waiting in line for a while. If you want to know details about how that generally works, you can talk to me after, or you can talk to me this week. But basically, you're going to get in line. You're going to say you're getting food for the church. They'll give you 3 or 4 boxes of food, and then we take it all over to the River Grove Apartments, and we distribute everything that we've got. So that's how that works. And then I think it's time to sing. Yeah?
And speaking of distributing things at River Grove, I just want to share with you guys, I was there yesterday just ever so briefly. Like I drove in, dropped something off, drove out, and I was stopped by 3 or 4 kids saying, "Are you here for food day? Should I go get my mom?"
No.
They know the truck, they know it brings food. I made sure they all had our magnet on their fridge and said, if you need food, tell mom to call me. But no, that's not what I'm here for today. But thank you, because they wouldn't know the truck brings them food if it wasn't for you guys. And then I get to feel like the ice cream guy, and that's kind of fun. I need to get something that plays music on my truck. All right, we're going to close with the chorus to Nothing More that we sang last week.
Okay. I want to count me in. Thank you.
We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. We are how we treat each other and nothing more. I will extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the warmth it gives. Its glow becomes the kindness we carry into the world. May our honesty guide us and our compassion keep us humble. May our courage open hearts and our joy build connection. For we are not the kind of church that leaves love at the door. We take its light wherever we go. Go forth and be the church that the world needs. Feed the hungry, comfort the weary, stand beside the outcast and the forgotten. Say yes when others say that's not our job. Let your love be louder than apathy and your compassion more contagious than fear. For we are not that kind of church. We are the kind that remembers Love is the only sermon that ever truly matters. Go in love, go in power, go and do good.